Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Casual Sports Podcast. I'm Alek Koberna. Joining with me, as always,
is Matt Morrison.
We're going to be talking some NBA today, but before we get started, this show is being recorded on Anchor. You can find that on iTunes after we get a few episodes out there.
After a few.
We'll let you know when it shows up.
We will let you know when it pops up.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Casual Sports Report and use the hashtag CSR2020 if you ever want to interact with us. And
it's always easy to find.
It's always easy to find because we are still the only ones using it. We're proud of it. Today we're talking NBA because it's been 142 days since the last game of the NBA season, and it's coming back. Let's go. All right. So the NBA coming back officially at the moment is training camps are starting July 9th and going to the 11th. Then the season is starting on July 31st. Yeah. Now, Woj, via 12:30 p.m. today at the live recording, today is June 11th. At 12:30 today, he said that they're trying to target an earlier start, and he said July 30th, so one extra day. Okay. A little interesting. He's like, hey, we're going to move it up. Only one day. Like, I want to start a little bit earlier because, like, the next day is just too long. You know?
Yeah, it's just too long.
That totally makes sense. So the season would go at the moment from July 31st and would end at the latest October 12th. Yeah. And that's kind of an interesting timetable when you're looking at it because
they should be in the middle of the season in October 12th, not ending it, you know.
Well, I mean, October 12th at this point, we're almost, normally we're about, 2 months away from the start of the season.
Yeah.
And this is pushing back next season, so they've already announced, kind of officially announced when the next season starts, and that's going to be December 1st. So kind of now interesting timetable for sports, and I think the biggest part about this is how is this going to affect other sports? Because right now, we're in baseball's timeline. Like, baseball gets the summer. They're the only thing on in the summer. And now, NBA's taking their slots. They're taking those prime times. We're going to talk about this on another show on a later date. Is the NBA moving its season the death of Major League Baseball? Ooh, save that for later, because that'll be an interesting discussion.
Hopefully not.
We'll get into that at a later date. I promise that'll come out soon. But now, this coming out in the summer, how is this going to interact with the start of football? Because college football starts around the same time.
August.
It starts, middle of August, end of August type times.
Yes. And
now we're getting baseball going all the way to October. It's going to be kind of interesting, especially NBA Finals versus, week 3 of college football?
Yeah.
I mean, college football's ratings are going to be low for the start of the season. Especially NBA playoffs, everybody's watching that, especially this season.
And people are going to want to watch, LeBron versus Kawhi Leonard, not Ohio State versus some weak division.
I think week 3, it's either Oregon or Buffalo. If it's Oregon, they'll still get the viewerships, but if it's Buffalo, no chance.
Yeah. So.
So let's talk a little bit about how this is going out. So they're inviting 22 teams. We got currently 13 from the West and 9 from the East, and that was just kind of positioned on no one past 9 from the East would even have a chance to make it because the East just really didn't have it. Even the Washington Wizards, which is the one team from the East that was invited, sit about 6 games back from the Orlando Magic. So they would have to win basically every single game to make it within 4. So it's kind of confusing when we're getting down to it. When you get to the specifics of how this is going to work, we're going to have 8 regular season games to determine seeding, and the 7 best teams in each conference with the best records would automatically clinch a playoff spot, and that's where tiebreaker scenarios come in that we got from most of the regular season. That's kind of depending on making the teams kind of, seed them differently. If the 8th seed is more than 4 games ahead of the 9th seed, then there's no play-in tournament. But if the 9th seed is within 4 games of that 8th seed, we have a play-in tournament. Now, the play-in tournament works kind of weird as well. So the 8th seed in this series has to win 1 game. All they have to do is win 1, they get their spot, they're in. The 9th seed has to win 2 back-to-back games in order to advance into the finals and take that 8th spot. Now, what does that mean? It's kind of like the 9th seed is kind of already being put in a position to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want that 8th seed to stay there because the 8th seed throughout the season has proved to be better than the 9th, but it's still giving some of those teams a chance. Like currently, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Spurs, and the Suns are those 9 through 13 seeds for the West.
And while Memphis is that 8th seed.
Yeah. And already, so if we were to end it today, there's 2 teams within 4 games, and that is the Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans.
And near the end of that season, near the end of until quarantine happened, the Blazers were on a hot season.
Blazers were starting to heat up.
They were winning games. So, I mean, it's not to see Dame and CJ in the playoffs, you know, but it would be awesome to see John Morant versus LeBron, because people have been saying it might be the next
Derrick Rose. I see a lot more Derrick Rose comparisons than the next
and
LeBron.
Zion's supposed to be LeBron. I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll talk a little bit about that later. But no, when you go to Portland Trailblazers, just go right from the 8th seed to 9th seed. Portland Trailblazers, all players are expected to be returning healthy, and that's kind of a big thing we're seeing with a lot of the teams. All these teams had probably 1 or 2 guys pretty severely injured. A lot of these teams were expecting to not have these players going into the playoffs as it was. Now we get basically, 4-month hiatus?
Yeah.
We got a lot of healthy players back and a lot of healthy guys that want to go and play now. And the Trailblazers hold a very important tiebreaker over the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yes, they do. And some players have been, working out in the off season, and they're ready to go. Like, none of them have been sitting on the couch, so they're going to be playing harder. We're going to see probably better basketball than we would see they'd just be playing regular.
We are definitely going to be seeing better basketball because we get to the 82nd game of the season. We're really starting to talk about load management when it comes to those players towards the end of the season. If one of those top 3-4 teams is to clinch a spot, then you don't see LeBron play those final 16 games or whatever because they've already clinched the 1 seed or whatever.
Go ahead, take a break.
So now we give the best players in the world 4 months to train without any interruptions, basically. And then we're like,
they're gonna come.
It's time to play.
They're gonna come fast. Playing the first game is gonna be insane. I think and a lot of people are gonna watch.
Yeah, that's the important part. I think here is what are the ratings going to look like for this?
They're gonna be high. I think it might be one of the highest we've ever seen for anything.
I think we might start saying. I think NBA Finals this year, depending on who it is and what's going on with everything else. We might see ratings for like the first time ever be somewhere close to Super Bowl. The Super Bowl can bring in I think it's around 50 million viewers for the Super Bowls. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower. NBA Finals really isn't normally that high. Maybe a good Game 7, I think it was the Cavs Warriors is one of the highest rated ones.
Yeah.
During the 3-1 comeback, because that's history. That's historical. Yeah. This is something a lot like that. Different historical moment. But it's still important. It's still like historical, So how this is going to work? All the teams are being put into a bubble site location. They're all in Orlando, Florida. As many of you following this know already. So how this is going to work when it comes to how many teams are there? What happens to the teams when they lose? So this is also via Woj. She put this out today. That 6 teams will be eliminated after 35 to 40 days in the bubble site. Those teams will be moved off campus. They will be able. Those players are able to return to home and go on with their normal lives if they have been already. Mm-hmm. Prepare for next season. That'll be 35 to 40 days, so you're already losing 6 teams after a month. Mm-hmm. After 53 days, we're going down. Another 14 teams will be gone at least, and that kind of depends on what's going on with playing tournaments, and that kind of moves the season to different dates at a point. Yeah. Then after 67 days, 4 teams left. We're in the conference finals. 82 days, 2 teams left, and it's the start of the NBA Finals in just 82 days after July 31st, and that'll take place start of October. So will be the NBA Finals.
Wow. So you see, well, if That'd be cool if that was just regular, so we would see the World Series and then turn the channel and there's the NBA Finals.
Right. I mean, yeah. If that goes into more of like next season with the start going to December 1st. Yeah. How long does that push the regular season back?
Exactly.
Because then we could get to the point where we have the start of college football, the start of the World Series, and then the end of the NBA Finals, all in the same 2-week period.
Now, here's the question: like, if they keep going on this, the track that they're on, is it going to start December 1st every year now? Is that going to be a thing?
Well, most likely, if this is how they're doing it this year, they're not going to shorten next season.
No, because
I think most important about they can't shorten season or do anything like that is, one, they want Zion to be playing as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because they're already kind of designing him to be the new poster child of the NBA. Yeah. They want him there, and that's obvious. That's why they went with immediately the 22 teams instead of just doing 16 teams right to the playoffs.
Because
they said this many times, like, we want Zion to be there because Zion's a new face. They want him to be.
We gotta give him that chance to be a new face. Okay?
Exactly. The NBA wants him. The NBA wants him there. Yeah. He still has to earn it, though. He has to earn it with the fans,
with me.
Yes,
because I'm not his fan. Okay, I'm not one of your fans, buddy.
Yeah, Matt has not been too nice about it.
No.
What are your words exactly? Zion's.
He was a bust.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I've talked to this on our radio show too.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm a huge Duke fan too, but I really don't like Zion.
Zion's gotten into a bit of hot water with Duke recently too. Have you heard about this story? So, Zion's kind of getting in trouble because one of his former agents or whatever you want to call them, admissions people, leaked out to the media that Zion accepted gifts to come to Duke.
Yeah, and he won't be punished, but Duke will be.
What does that mean in the long run? Absolutely nothing, because Duke didn't win diddly squat when he was there.
No, they didn't.
They got eliminated in what, Elite Eight?
Something like that.
I think it was the Elite Eight of the Final Four.
They just squeaked past UCF with the big guy. What's his name?
Taco Fall! The big man.
That guy shut down Zion the whole game. You know what? They nearly beat him. I was happy.
That was impressive. I mean, if you go to Taco Fall, he's on the Boston Celtics. He's on the G League, but with maybe a couple players being injured. So they're allowing replacement players. So if a certain player doesn't want to go to the bubble site for whatever reason, the NBA said most likely at the moment they're still doing negotiations. The player will not be in trouble for anything. If he doesn't want to play, he's not going to be punished. Mm-hmm. But he will have to kind of not. He won't be able to be paid for those games he's not playing. But the teams will be allowed to sign replacement players.
And that's where Carson Edwards comes in, the old Purdue guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are in the free agency that just didn't find a spot in the team this year.
No.
I mean, we could see.
And not being drafted by an NBA team doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You know, there's only 2 rounds, right?
Only 60 guys get picked by NBA teams. Yeah. So there's a lot of college players that come out every year. There's a lot of young guys that are just. Fighting at the opportunity.
What's that guy for the Raptors? Van Vliet? He went on.
Yeah, Fred Van Vliet. An emerging point guard from the North.
He went to Wichita State.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, there's even a lot of older guys still on the market that just didn't fall into a spot this year. J.R. Smith.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't been signed by anybody.
Yeah. He's been biking.
Lance Stevenson. He's not signed by anybody. No. There's multiple older guys that would make for good role players.
I don't know if you've seen, but LeBron has been hanging out with them a lot. They were biking downtown LA with Anthony Davis there too. Did you see that video?
Yes, I saw the video.
So maybe that's a little recruitment. And J.R. Smith was also in LA because he was kicking that guy's butt for breaking into his car.
It's interesting you bring up the Lakers maybe bringing in J.R. Smith because JaVale McGee has asthma, and he was pulled out in December of 2018, I think it was, because he was having a respiratory issue. Mm-hmm. So now we have a respiratory disease with COVID-19. There's speculation he won't play. He's at the moment, the Lakers and him have said he will be there. He's not really going to stop it for anything here. But if he doesn't play in Orlando, that opens up a roster slot. Now, with JaVale McGee gone, they probably want to bring in another big man. But at this point, you want somebody that has chemistry.
And I can shoot the ball.
And can shoot the ball because that's what they love to put around LeBron. Give him a shooter, let him work the point.
That's why they have Avery Bradley there.
Danny Green. They're spot up 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
And that plays well.
That's what they did with him in Miami. That's why he had Ray Allen with him, and what's the other guy?
And we all know how Ray Allen turned out for that.
Man, what a shot he made in the finals. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's not get a track about that. I can talk about that all day too.
Oh, we got plenty of time. We ain't got nowhere to be.
We got nowhere to be.
All right, so I want to kind of talk about this. Get into some predictions for it.
Okay.
So
some predictions.
I'm gonna hand you teams. These are all 22 teams. Which teams don't make the playoffs?
How many teams are not gonna make it?
Well, so we have 16 teams.
Yeah.
So 6 teams aren't gonna make it.
6 teams.
Yeah.
Out of all this?
Which 6 teams are not going to make the playoff? From the East.
From the East.
There's only one team from the East not making it.
Is it the Wizards?
And it's almost virtually guaranteed it's going to be the Wizards. John Wall said he's not coming back.
Oh man.
They don't really have to have anybody else. Bradley Beal is a star.
Yeah.
He has injury issues. If he stays healthy, maybe they can make a tiny push. But I said it earlier, they have to win almost every game to make it. I think they're about 6 games and 5.5 games back.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have to be able to push it within 4.
That's not really a good record.
No, it's not. It's pretty poor.
24-40.
24
That's bad.
It's not a great season.
No.
I mean, considering the Cavs finished last year, where I think it was we had 19 wins.
Yeah.
And that's only 5 ahead, and we're talking about a chance to make it. Well, the season got cut a little bit short, but I think we finished around 16 or 17. Okay. It was we were on pace to do it.
We're pushing to 30, man. Maybe like 24.
So out of the East, it's clear the Wizards. Give me the 6 teams in the West.
The West.
There are 5 teams out of the West.
Out of the West. Okay.
Just go from the bottom up.
Suns aren't gonna make it.
Yeah, it's most likely given. Let's talk Suns for a second here.
Yeah, you got Devin Booker.
You
got
DeAndre
Rising Star and DeAndre.
Former first overall pick from Arizona. They expect the whole team to be healthy, but once again, they're a long shot to make it because they're 6 games back? Yeah, so they're in a similar position the Wizards are. And then if you look at all the teams that they have to face above them.
The Spurs are, I mean, I don't. They might not make it, but
that's probably one of the biggest storylines.
And you know what? That makes them a huge threat because they made the playoffs. I
believe we're 24 consecutive playoff appearances, and this is on my predictions. Yeah. The streak will come to an end.
Yeah, but they're not going to go. They're not going to go away without a fight.
No, they're going to push it. They're going to cause issues for those teams ahead of them.
Yeah, Suns won't make it. Wizards won't make it. Yeah.
Well, actually, hold on. When you go back to the Spurs real quick, so their big guy, LaMarcus Aldridge, is still out.
Still out.
He's probably their biggest star at the moment.
Yeah.
They have Lonnie Walker, who's younger, kind of emerging. They have a few young guys that are kind of coming into their own, but without their big guy, LaMarcus Aldridge. They also
have DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. DeMar DeRozan's down there. So, but I think really without that big man presence, especially in the West, we got a lot of big guys, a lot of muscle out there right now.
Yeah.
I don't see the Spurs doing anything. I mean, I see them making a push, but not to the playoffs.
Sacramento, Buddy Hield's a rising star player.
But Sacramento Kings, Marvin Bagley, probably one of their biggest stars, has only played 13 games this season. So it's one of those situations. If he comes back and they're hot, because they haven't played most of the season with him, but so if he comes back and he just reignites the roster, they can make a push up now to the playoff spot or the play-in tournament.
Yeah, and then the last one, people are going to hate me, but Zion's not making the playoffs.
Ooh,
Trailblazers, maybe, I think they'll get their hot streak back. I think Dame and CJ will do their work.
All right.
Nurkic will come back.
Yes.
He'll be
good. When you come down to
I think if you put all those players together that the Trailblazers had, they can beat the Pelicans. They got Brandon Ingram, who's coming around.
Yeah, one more team that can't make it.
One more team?
Yeah, you got one more team. Is it going to be... So at the moment, you said everybody below Trailblazers. So is the Trailblazers or the Grizzlies?
Oh, man.
who doesn't make it. Or I mean, we're in a situation. If you look at it,
that's this.
I mean, Dallas is pretty far up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a fight for 8th, but maybe we'll see something happen, craziness, whatever.
Maybe. Oh man, I don't know. That's a very tough decision.
The Trailblazers or the Grizzlies?
Who else do the Grizzlies have besides Morant on their team? Is Morant their only player?
No, I know they have.
If he has some.
Justice Winslow is coming back. He has not played this entire season due to a back injury, but he said he will be healthy, and that's a big name. You know, former star down in the Miami area.
Yeah.
Came in and
if
shortly
you can
after
get
LeBron.
somebody to complement John Morant who can help him out.
And I think that's Justice Winslow. I think Justice could help him here, and that's kind of interesting.
Because John Morant alone, like I know this guy can jump over people.
Valanciunas is on that team, isn't he? Isn't that where he went? Or is he?
The guy from the Raptors?
Yes, he is on the Grizzlies.
Yes, he is on the Grizzlies.
Valanciunas, John Morant, now Justice Winslow. I know there's somebody else down there.
You can dish it to Valanciunas.
Down in the paint.
Yeah.
Justin.
They might have a little chance, but John alone, no.
Well, now when you go to talk about matchups here, so small forward positions, Justice Winslow. That's kind of a big position when you're talking about the West, because you got LeBron, then you have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Keep going down.
Yeah.
We got Donovan Mitchell.
Nikola Jokic too.
Well, Jokic is center, so that's more Valanciunas would be guarding him, which is another good matchup there. So they match up pretty well against a lot of other teams when you bring in Winslow.
Yeah.
If he comes back, he's expected to make his debut with the team. He was supposed to, but then the season got ended, so now he's expected to come back for this. So give it to me. Memphis Grizzlies, Portland Trailblazers. Who's taking the 8th seed of the West?
You're going to ask me this question. Are you going to answer this?
Yeah, I'm going to answer the question.
Okay.
I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4,
Trailblazers.
3. He's taking the Trailblazers for the 8th seed. All right.
I don't know, man. No, don't get me wrong here. I would love to see John Morant get in the playoffs and face off against LeBron. That'd be absolutely awesome. But you gotta go. I mean, Blazers have been there before. Blazers have made some playoff routes. They were. I mean, I know they got swept last. Yeah, they got Melo with them now.
Melo was getting hot too at the end of the season. All right.
They were.
My predictions.
All right. Go ahead.
My prediction is the exact same thing.
Oh,
and if you think I'm making this up on the spot, I got it written down right here. Trailblazers get the 8th seed. The Pelicans and Grizzlies don't make the playoffs. The Spurs playoff streak will end.
Yeah.
Boom. It's written right there.
You made it look like you're going to change it.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking like, do I just change it up here just for like fun?
It's like you're being a little serious. Yeah.
It's like, you know?
No?
Yeah, I know. I got the exact same thing going on.
It's like when a kid comes home from a basketball game and the mom's like, "Did you win?" Well, you know, yeah, we did.
We kicked their butt.
We kicked their butt. You know,
we won 42-0.
Yeah. We didn't just win; like we humiliated them.
So we talked about the playing stuff. Now let's get down to the actual NBA tournament.
Oh man,
the playoff tournament.
So you'll have
the NBA playoff tournament is coming up next.
You're gonna have the Lakers.
We're gonna take a quick break here. Stay tuned for part 2. We're gonna come back and talk about the NBA playoffs in its entirety with our selected top 8 teams. Memphis Grizzlies lose the 8th spot to the Trailblazers.
Blazers facing off against LeBron. We'll talk about that real soon.
And more on the next video.